Disclaimer: this story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental. This story is brought to you by Golden Storytime, where every heartbeat tells a tale of love, pain, and destiny. Part 1. The beginning of a beautiful bond. Aarav was a quiet boy who never believed in love. He thought it was just a distraction. But everything changed the day he met Mira, the new girl in his college. Her laughter was like music. Her kindness lit up every corner of the room. Aarav tried to stay away, but fate had other plans. One afternoon, they got paired for a class project, and that's when their story began. At first, it was just friendship, small talks, late-night study calls, sharing secrets, but somewhere between all that, love silently bloomed. Part 2. The Confession. One rainy evening, as they walked home together, Aarav couldn't hold it in anymore. He looked at Mira, eyes trembling, and said, "Mira, I don't know when or how, but you've become the reason I smile every day." Mira didn't reply. She just smiled, the kind of smile that says everything without a single word. That night, both knew something magical had begun. Part 3. The distance days turned into weeks, weeks into months, but they never stopped messaging each other. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, but they never stopped messaging each other. Yet, distance slowly started stealing their moments. Intermission. Some stories pause, not because they're over, but because destiny wants to test the strength of love. As the train took Mira away, Aarav's world grew silent. Her laughter, her voice, her presence all became memories in a heartbeat. Love was still there, but distance had built walls between them. Days turned into nights, and messages turned into silence. Maybe time wanted to see, would their hearts still beat for each other, even miles apart? Will love survive the test of distance, or will fate write a different ending? Part 4. The Reunion. After 2 years, fate brought them together again at a friend's wedding. Aarav saw her across the hall. Same smile, same eyes, but more mature. They talked for hours, laughing about old memories. And when the music slowed down, Aarav whispered, "Maybe destiny wanted us to meet again, to finish what we started." Mira smiled. "Maybe destiny never wanted us to end." Part 5. The Forever Promise. Time healed what distance broke. They built dreams together, faced challenges hand in hand, and one sunset evening, Aarav proposed under the same tree where they first met. Tears in her eyes, Mira said, "I waited for this moment every single day." Ending scene love isn't about perfect timing or perfect people. It's about two souls who choose to hold on, even when the world tries to pull them apart. Because when love is true, distance, time, or destiny, nothing can break it. If you felt this story in your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Golden Storytime, where love lives forever in words. Have you ever met someone who completely turned your world upside down? Someone who made you believe in something you never thought was real? This is a story about a love like that. A love that proves some connections are simply meant to be. Our story begins with Aarav. He was the quiet one, the guy you'd find with his head buried in a book, convinced that love was just a silly distraction from what really mattered in life. He had his future planned out, and romance had no place in his neat, organized world. But life, as it often does, had a surprise in store for him. And that surprise came in the form of a girl named Mira. She was new to the college, and from the moment she arrived, she was like a burst of sunshine. Her laughter echoed through the hallways, a melody that seemed to brighten everything around her. She had a kindness that was genuine, a smile that could disarm anyone, and a way of seeing the world that was full of hope and wonder. To Aarav, she was a complete enigma. He tried to ignore her, to stick to his routine, but Mira had a way of drawing people in. They were paired up for a project, and Aarav found himself reluctantly spending more and more time with her. He expected to be annoyed by her constant chatter, but instead, he found himself listening, really listening, for the first time in a long time. She spoke about her dreams, her family, her favorite books, and her love for rainy days. Slowly, almost without him noticing, the walls he had built around his heart began to crumble. Their friendship blossomed in the most unexpected way. They studied together in the library, their hushed whispers filled with shared jokes. They took long walks around campus, debating everything from philosophy to the best street food vendor. Aarav found himself smiling more, laughing more. Mira was showing him a different side of life, a world painted in vibrant colors he never knew existed. He realized that love wasn't a distraction. It was an inspiration. It wasn't about losing yourself, but about finding a better version of yourself with someone else. One evening, the sky opened up. Rain poured down, washing the world clean. They were caught in the downpour, seeking shelter under the old banyan tree on campus. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth, and the sound of raindrops hitting the leaves. It was the kind of moment Mira always said she loved. Looking at her, with her hair damp and her eyes sparkling with joy, Aarav knew he couldn't hold it in any longer. With a heart pounding in his chest, he took a deep breath. He told her everything. He told her how he used to see the world in black and white, but she had filled it with color. He told her that her laughter was his favorite sound, and that her kindness had taught him more than any book ever could. He confessed that he, Aarav, the boy who didn't believe in love, was hopelessly in love with her. In that quiet moment, under the shelter of the ancient tree, a beautiful love story began. Their days together were pure magic. Every moment felt precious, from holding hands while walking to class to sharing secrets under the stars. They were inseparable, two souls who had found their perfect match. It felt like nothing could ever go wrong. They were young, in love, and believed they had forever. But destiny, it seemed, had a different plan. Just as their love was at its peak, Mira's family announced they were moving to another city. The news hit them like a tidal wave. It was sudden, unexpected, and devastating. They promised to make it work. They promised daily calls, letters, and visits whenever possible. They believed their love was strong enough to conquer any distance. At first, they tried. The calls were long, filled with emiscues and reassurances. But slowly, life got in the way. The time difference made calls difficult. College assignments piled up for Aarav, and Mira was busy settling into a new life in a new city. The daily calls became weekly, then monthly. The long, heartfelt conversations turned into short, awkward updates. Silence, once a comfortable companion, became a vast, empty space between them. The distance wasn't just physical anymore. It was emotional. The vibrant world they had built together started to fade back into shades of gray. Eventually, the calls stopped altogether. Their beautiful love story seemed to have ended, lost somewhere between two cities. Years passed. Aarav finished college and started his career, just as he had always planned. He became successful, but there was always a part of him that felt empty, a void that he could never quite fill. He dated other people, but no one ever compared to Mira. The memory of her laughter, her kindness, and their love under the rainy sky was etched into his heart. He often wondered what had happened to her, if she ever thought of him. Then, fate decided to intervene once more. Aarav was invited to a close friend's wedding. He went, expecting a weekend of celebration and catching up with old friends. As he stood talking in the crowd, he heard a laugh. It was a sound he hadn't heard in years, but one his heart had never forgotten. It was like music. He turned around, and there she was. Mira. She looked just as beautiful as he remembered. Her eyes widened in surprise as she saw him. For a moment, the entire world seemed to fade away. It was just the two of them, standing there, the years of silence and distance melting away in an instant. All the old emotions came rushing back, not as faint echoes, but as a powerful, undeniable force. They spent the entire wedding talking, catching up on the lost years. They spoke of their careers, their families, and the lives they had built separately. But more importantly, they spoke of the past. They talked about why they had drifted apart, the unspoken hurt, and the lingering wit. They realized that their love had never truly faded. It had just been lying dormant, waiting for the right moment to be reawakened. That night, under a sky full of stars, Aarav looked at Mira and saw his past, his present, and his future all in her eyes. The pain of separation had only made their bond stronger. The years apart had taught them the true value of what they had lost. Against all odds, Aarav and Mira found their way back to each other. They proved that time and distance are just tests for a love that is true. Their story wasn't a fairy tale with a simple happily ever after. It was a real story, full of challenges, heartbreak, and second chances. It teaches us that true love doesn't vanish, it endures. It waits, it hopes, and when the time is right, it finds its way home. Because some hearts are just meant to beat as one forever. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this journey with us. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and subscribe for more content that celebrates the power of connection. We'll see you in the next video.